Hi, welcome to another of our Success with People live cast. I have some questions for you. Have you ever had a miserable night? Tossing and turning, being anxious about a confrontation that you were expecting the next day? Whoa, how is this going to work out? Have you ever felt tension? You're going to a meeting and you're sort of gearing up in the meeting. I'm expecting sparks to fly and so on, gearing up. And then the next day or in the meeting, whoa, it didn't go the way I expected. It was smooth, everything worked out all right. And so all of this, anxiety and the stress was for nothing because things worked out. Hmm? What if we could take action to intentionally have more of those situations where we end up with joyful experiences as against energy sapping confrontation? Hi, I'm Trevor E.S. Smith, and I'm with the Success with People Academy, and I'll be your guide through the next 30 to 35 minutes. Right. So, our goal really is to help you to have more of these pleasant experiences. Let me tell you, um, just leveling with you there, that we go to a lot of trouble, spend a lot of time in these live casts, trying to provide you with insights that will enhance your interpersonal relationships, work with teams better, and develop your leadership skills. The whole idea is to equip people who come to these live casts with the capacity to enhance their impact and influence and their capacity to relate better to others. But today, we want to relieve some of the stress by helping you to move beyond confrontation as we take a deep dive into this concept of navigating conflict with finesse. So, at the heart of navigating conflict with finesse is the art of going through touchy situations respectfully and diplomatically. But here it is. The whole idea is not to deflect, is not to avoid, it is to address these issues head on, not butting heads, but still not moving away from dealing with the issue. So the whole idea is that we're going to preserve relationships, but in a context in which we actually make a difference. We answer questions, we address issues that are there. So the whole thing then is that this requires a profound understanding of human behavior and the dynamics that underpin interpersonal relationships. We want to get to a place where we are understanding that you and I have different perspectives. We see life through different lenses. We go into different behavioral toolkits in order to navigate through life. So our communication might be different, our motivations are different. And if we understand the dynamics of this set of facts, we are going to put ourselves in a better position to be able to convert more confrontations into pleasant, successful negotiations. Let me just share why I am so keen to look at behavioral styles. For me, based on the what is it now, couple decades of work in this area, mastery, a deeper understanding of behavioral styles is the equivalent. Let us say we go on a trip to Europe and we have to be ordering food by saying moo, moo, moo. That's one side if we are inadequate. And the other approach would be to engage the chef in discourse about how you want your Chateaubriand to be done. That's the difference when we master behavioral styles. We communicate on a completely different level. Because believe me, behavioral speaking different languages behaviorally is the equivalent, I say it again, of someone speaking Swahili, someone who only speaks Chinese. It's difficult. So it's a move instead of medium rare for my steak. It's the capacity we have when we understand behavioral styles. So let us take a little look again, little piece by piece we're adding. And if you stick, as I say, we are always out of here within 35 minutes. If you stick with us, I'm going to give you some tips as well as to how to work more closely with others using this information so that we can finesse conflicts. The previous live cast, I dealt with the whole issue, been dealing with preventing conflict. So we can all say conflict is inevitable, yeah, but conflict can also be prevented. We can anticipate conflict based on a sophisticated understanding of behavioral styles and preclude certain things from taking place. So let us look at quickly the four basic toolkits that we have, behavioral tools that we have to cope with life. So how a C-style individual would go into a whole issue around disputes and so on is that it's like a courtroom. They would have a lawyer mood about it. So whether they are the prosecution or the defense, they're looking at facts and they're really seeking to find ways. It's like a debate. How do you find a way to win the debate based on an appeal to facts? Yeah, evidence, fact based. And the whole idea is that I will present a case that hopefully will win. That's the C-style approach. The D-style approach is to be assertive, is to be confident that I am right in this matter. It's a competitive situation because we don't like to lose. So that's the whole idea. The whole idea. So it's a little bit more active. There's a more dynamic situation in that because there is the idea of wanting to win. Yeah, that's part of it. So the I style individual wants harmony, wants peace, wants to put a pleasant face. So they might deflect or they might distract, they might put in a joke, etc. So the whole idea is let us ease down the tension. Let us, but doesn't necessarily address the issue at hand. And then goodwill. At the end of the day, whatever happens, let us come out smiling and the relationship intact. The S-style is then going to be want to listen some more. Let me hear what's happening. Not as assertive. They want to have harmony. And in the final analysis, they might actually step away with a sort of victim mentality that, okay, for a peaceful life, I will, give up my right. I will give up my right for a peaceful life. So, if we understand some of these dynamics, it will help us then to tailor our interactions so that potential disagreements can be dealt with in a different way so that they don't get to the place where they are explosive. Yeah? And it would then also minimize misunderstandings. Yeah. So we speak in the same language. So the chef doesn't come with a burnt Chateaubriand because I explained to him how I want it done. Yes, that's the difference when we understand. And these styles, it's not just the four basic ideas here. There's a whole bag of tools, behavioral actions, behavioral ways of communicating, ways of receiving information that's included in the four classifications of behaviors. So these four styles have, for example, in our extended this behavioral analysis, in each of the areas, we have 40 unique reports. So it's 160 different styles. I should not just reports, styles, and within each style you could get several different kinds of reports, millions of lines of text. All right. So I want to give you two quick case studies, and then after that, three fundamental ways that we can finesse conflict. Right? So some tips as to how to use behavioral discernment to equip you to better navigate through some of the challenges that you might meet. So here is our first case study. Right? And this is about resource allocation. So this is a software company competing, not competing. We have teams that are working together and they have to access programmers. Yeah. So the two teams, two department heads, if you will, have different aspects of the project to develop. So Drew and Dana leads and they're butting heads because they want to succeed. They want to get there. They don't want their part of the development to hold back the projects. Yeah. So it continues, No, I need Trevor to finish this. No, but he's doing this for me. And it's a to and fro and it's a problem. And eventually you start to have silos, where I'm trying to capture this resource. I might not be using him fully now, but I don't want when I'm ready for him, I can't get him. And so that's part of where we are now, where deadlines are being missed and so on. And so, of course, management comes in and management says, okay, you guys, we can't have this happening because it's impacting our productivity. So they actually come and they say, okay, all right, you need to work out what it is. So the result is after the mediation is that they decide, okay, fine, yeah, this is counterproductive. So let us look at it. And as a matter of fact, let us find a way. Let us set up a system that works where there's greater transparency as to how we are using the resources. Yeah. So that's one way of dealing with it, is to not then shy away and ignore it, but to look at what it is on the ground and how it is that we can use this challenge. Yeah. So we actually looked at a situation in a previous live class where we're looking at conflict as a catalyst. So this is the idea of innovation. How can we then create some kind of solution that can make this work better for you, for me, and for the organization? So that's one case. Another case would be a situation of managing client expectations. So here's a situation, a consulting firm where we have the client owner, the person who's servicing the client directly, and then the back office, the people who are providing the technical support. So Ian is the guy up front, and Ian, of course, wants to excite the client. So Ian tells the client what is coming up on the road and how exciting all of these things are going to happen, what it is that they're going to do, and maybe over promises in the excitement. And Carmen is saying, sister, listen to me. Do not promise anything until we have it ready and tested, because you're raising expectations of the client and we can't deliver and it looks bad. Stop going ahead. Wait until we actually have it. Yeah? And so that then started getting to all sorts of challenges because clients were saying, hey, you guys promised this, and now we are so many weeks or months, behind. Of course, then leadership has to say this has to stop, otherwise we're going to lose our clients. And so they apply this conflict, this idea of managing conflict with finesse. Let's sit down, let's talk, let's see what are your needs, what are your considerations, what are your concerns. Also, you guys need to have some training as to how best to communicate, how you can communicate better with each other without having these challenges. And as a result of that, there was a more seamless collaboration. Yeah. So promises were not made that couldn't be delivered. But at the same time, the client could have a sense of what's coming down the pipe. Might not be today, but I want you to know where this thing is going. So that's the kind of thing that happens when you seek to navigate potential confrontation um, with finesse. All right. So basically, what's the takeaway? I'm gonna go beyond this because I want to share the three keys, three inputs to help you to navigate um, conflict with finesse. So these cases that we'll just look at demonstrate that thoughtful navigation can in fact convert confrontation into opportunities for growth, even innovation. And so if we understand the value, if we are able to speak the language of individuals behaviorally, we're going to achieve a lot more success. So it is about understanding where we can find common ground, how people are hearing it is that you are saying, what it is that you're sending out is landing. Those are some of the things that we can do. Use that as a stepping stone towards success. The question that I have for you is, could your team benefit from navigating conflict with finesse? That's a question that you have to ask. All right. So we can enhance, and this is where I want to give you some strategies or capacity to navigate through conflict with discerning communication. Yeah. So, and that can be applied in various scenarios to reduce misunderstanding, to enhance team dynamics. That's a way forward. And so I'm going to share you some insights from our discerning model of communication, which really at the core involves adjusting, speaking the language of the individual that you're talking to. Yes? So moving from moo to, hey, this is how I want my Chateau to go. Yeah, that's a big difference. So peace and content. How we deliver our message has a lot to do with the pace that we use and the content that we include. Yeah. So, for example, your D-style colleagues, driven, decisive, want to control the situation. They want direct, quick communication. They want to get to the bottom line. So basically, you need to speak in bullet points, boom, 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 and leave out the unnecessary details. Sometimes we feel that we need to add more information so that our case can be sound better, sound as if we have given it more thought. But these style individuals just want the core, the bottom line. What is it that we're talking about? And can I get it in bullet points? The S-style colleagues, they want to understand the how. How do I do this? I hear you. I know this is what you want to do, but I want to have some clarity as to how do you think this is to be achieved? How do we go about it? And so you need to slow down. I mean, and when I say slow down, sometimes it sounds like you're saying, oh boy, be ineffective, be inefficient. No, it's not. Because it is better to be clear about how to get something done rather than to have rework. And so part of the efficiency is to make sure that everybody is clear about where we're going and how we're going to get there. And so you want to allow for time for discussion and for processing. All right. Thank you. I understand that. Let me go and think it through and to see. I might have to come back to you with some questions because definitely once we get going, it's all right. But I don't want to have to be checking help here and asking this there. Why not just let us have clarity up front? In terms of the discourse, again, your I-style colleagues would prefer, would be helped if there are some anecdotes involved, a little story weaved into what it is that you're saying, makes it more interesting, makes it more engaging, and can pay more attention then. However, your C-style colleagues would probably prefer that you just stick to the facts and cite the evidence. Yeah? This is where this is coming from. This is the research behind this. Stick to those facts. Don't necessarily need a story around this. All right. The other thing would be the tone and the energy, man. You ever been into a presentation? I hope not this one, where you're saying, oh my gosh, could this guy speed up because he looks as if he wants to sleep and I want to sleep as well. No, I'm suggesting that you modify your tone and the energy to match the preferences. So your I-style individuals want enthusiasm, want some more upbeat communication, while your C-style individuals prefer this evidence-based analytical approach where step clear. Okay. Confidence, being confident, being assured. As a matter of fact, even leaning towards being assertive works well with your D-style audience, while the S-style colleagues would prefer a more responsive, empathetic. I'm in your shoe. These are the people issues. I understand what stakeholders could be going through. That communication is coming across, that here is a person that understands me, that is prepared to speak in tones that I can accept. I can feel comfortable in that discourse. Yeah. And so here's the third step, or the third set of tips would be to anchor your concepts, use anchoring concepts. What is it that this person wants to take away? What is it that this style individual wants to take away? And so today I have this challenge now in this presentation. What is it that someone in my audience who is has a preference for the D style, what is it that they would want? They would want to know if this conflict, managing conflict, navigating conflict with finesse, how will it impact my goals? How does it impact the bottom line? So I need to speak to the fact that when we have these conflicts, etc., we're talking about last time, we're talking about distractions, we're talking about people who should be engaged together, working towards maximizing returns on our investment. They are instead fighting, putting out fires. CEO has to sit down and go into mediation. All of that is costly. And so that's the picture that I have to sell the idea that we could have increased harmony that goes directly to the bottom line. So it's not just about little people issues, that soft skills, not soft skills. This is bottom line skills. For the I-style individual, we could actually go back to the idea of using conflict as a catalyst for innovation. So, all right, you guys are having issues as to how to allocate your resources. Why not work to create a solution that makes a difference? That's part of the innovation. It's this idea that instead of fighting and pushing and having that negative energy, what if we put that into a pressure cooker and come up with exciting new ideas? That's part of where it is. It is possible that this dynamic of potential conflict could actually be a way forward in terms of innovation and creativity. That's what I'm just trying to say. For your S-style listeners, probably the majority of people, is the whole idea of, man, this is stressful. I'm going home daily with another set of fights, another fuss, another problem in the organization. Oh, this is tiresome. I really cannot survive in that kind of environment. So here is an opportunity where we can actually get ahead of some of these confrontations and create a more harmonious relationship where people actually see people and not as something to fight against. We are together. So that's the message that we can have, that we can actually use tools, use these principles to bring forth unity so that people can have peace of mind while they work. We see that individuals, very similar to the, in terms of saying, what are the numbers? How much time is being lost in terms of conflict resolution, yeah, confrontation, mediation? How much time is being lost? When we put numbers to that, is it worth it to have some investment in equipping people to get ahead of these conflicts? Give them the skills to be able to identify differences in behavioral styles and to so adapt their communication as to preclude some of this lost time, some of this lost energy, some of these productivity sapping situations. That's the message. And that's the idea. The anchoring concepts would be your third set of skills that you could apply. All right. So, what is the bottom line? I'm just suggesting that if you adopt these core principles for navigating conflict with finesse, you can actually drive more profit to the bottom line if you're a profit uh, taking institution. Whatever your goals are, having harmony and bringing the team together where people communicate more effectively, where people can actually get messages across that land in the way that they want them to land. Those things are going to make a difference. And I'm suggesting to you that applying our discerning communication model, where we understand behavioral styles, is going to make a difference in terms of your misunderstandings. Limiting those is going to help teams to understand themselves better and be able to function more effectively, and it's going to have impact on productivity. So key here though is to adjust your communication such that people hear you in their preferred language. That's it. We all have a preferred behavioral language. Some people talk about love languages and all of that. We have a preferred way of seeing the life, of, And so one of the things to do is to communicate with me in my language, and that will work. All right. So here is something big. So I'm on a crusade. That's why all of these. If you look at my LinkedIn profile, you will see hundreds of articles. I'm not talking posts, I'm talking articles over the years. And then, we got the opportunity to do this live class, and we have been doing this now weekly for almost for a long time. Part of it is this. If you look at it, there's not a heavy selling in all of what I'm trying to do. So there's a crusade to promote healthy interpersonal relations. So here's an offer. I am offering this conflict, but it's a version in which you could actually have interaction. And so I prefer to move it to a webinar. And I'm offering to do this with your team at no cost. No cost. So what you need to do, obviously, this is a limited time offer. I couldn't do it for everybody. So I'm just saying, for a limited number, I'm going to suggest that you just send me an email at info@successwithpeople.org and say, hey, I'd like to take you up on your kind offer to have it's a 1 hour, it's going to be 1 hour on Zoom link. We just set up an interactive session where we go through some of these um, ideas so that people can respond and to see, ask some questions about it. And then remember, our live class are available on extended disk solutions on YouTube. So they're all posted on YouTube, extended disk solutions. And I'm inviting you also to join our Leadership DNA Club on LinkedIn. Leadership DNA Club on LinkedIn. Just send me an email and we will invite you in. All right. So who are we? We are the Success with People Academy. I'm Trevor E.S. Smith, and we are part of the InfoServe group. We are SHRM recertification providers, which mean at the bottom line that we function at internationally recognized standards. We love to speak about our discerning model of communication and leadership. And also, we have this conflict prevention framework, not conflict resolution, prevention. We're trying to get ahead of conflict. And we also franchise holders for the extended disk solutions assessments on the Revolutionary Things platform. Let's have a conversation, just a conversation. You don't have to make any commitments. Send me an email at info@successwithpeople.org, or you can just WhatsApp straight to the point, 876-535-6677. Thank you. See you next week.